Good afternoon and welcome to the next in the series of the Successful Introvert Workshop. I come to you from a beautifully hot London, and I hope you're all managing to stay cool somewhere and take some time out to enjoy the beautiful weather whilst it lasts. I know as one of the bunch that's been at home, I've been able to cool off in our boys' paddling pool in the garden this morning, and it's really great to be able to take time to do things differently. And that's really part of where I come from. Just a bit about me. I come from a background in financial services, and for a lot of that time I really felt a bit unhappy. Networking is something I did, I endured, I knew I had to do, but I didn't really enjoy it. And it took me a long time to understand how to change my perspective, how to make a real difference in there. And it's only when I found way to make it work for me so I could enjoy and get what I wanted from it, I started to want to go to these events and really start engaging more with people, really getting more out of it and enjoying what I was doing. And part of my journey is actually what has got me here. I mean, 4 years ago, you probably wouldn't have found me being comfortable speaking in front of an audience. I was a smart person hid in the background, hoping that it wasn't noticed, and realizing that actually I have so much to give, and I wanted to find my voice, and that is something I have really been on a journey on. And each week I'm really loving sharing a bit of my experience and learning from myself as I reflect on the topic each week and give something back. So today, the real focus is on networking events. And what does that word do? When you say networking events, the networking event coming up, how does it make you feel? Do you feel a sense of fear? How can I avoid this? The overwhelm of walking into a room of 50, 60 people you don't know very well and talking to them. And is your mind running through the negative possibilities of that event? What ifs? Are you stuck on that negative roadmap of all the worst possible outcomes and what could go wrong? And the big question is, where is this fear coming from? What has caused you to feel this way? Learning to be reflective and thinking about the things we are doing is really the important bit. And I can not press the wrong button, we can go back to the right screen. So it's what previous experiences really got this fear. If you've ever walked into an event and felt frozen with fear, who to talk to? What is it that is driving that? How rational is that fear you are feeling at this time? And the important starting point is, what is your end goal? What is it you want to get from being down there? Spending a little time just thinking about the top 5 reasons for networking. Take a piece of paper and a pen and write down, or note them on your phone. What are the 5 important reasons? How important is it to you to network? What difference does it make to you? Why do you want, need, who should go? Thinking through these things is one thing. Taking a little time just to jot down the 5 reasons. It doesn't really matter what they are, but finding what works for you. What those reasons are: meeting people, being seen, learning something new, seeing something different. Knowing what you can gain then allows you to really start thinking about what's next. And So thinking of a networking event, what could be interesting or fun about it? Thinking about the ideas you just were thinking about on the previous thing, what could be interesting or fun about a networking event? It's really creating a second sheet. You've got your original sheet with all the reasons it's not fun, it's terrible, shouldn't be there. Now we're taking a blank piece of paper and writing on what is interesting and what is different. It's almost the opposite of everything you've written. You know, visualizing your first main, the reasons of fear. This is the reason for fun. Interesting. And there can be many, many different reasons. I mean, what will a fantastic event look, feel, hear like? The event's going to be fun. Just imagining that, how does that make you feel different inside? What excitement does it think? What tingling feeling do you get? It can be different. What could be fun? What will make the event fun? Interesting. Sometimes you can start with the location. It's somewhere you've never been before. Just sort of looks like. Is it a building you actually like? Is it a location you like? Great views, great scenery. Interesting speakers, interesting subject. Business events, are they going to be great? Snacks or drinks provided afterwards? It's always thinking about what is interesting and fun about it. Sometimes it comes down to flipping around those things. What could be fun and what could be interesting? What's the silliest reason you can make you have fun going to networking fun? And that's really important, just to pause and think. Sometimes it's about catching those feelings. Having discussed how you can enjoy it, the next step is really to think about what are the skills you need, what are the practice skills, what are the things you need to do that. It's really thinking, practicing the skills. Enjoy a networking event. You need to be able to listen. Yes. You need to be able to observe. Yes. You need to learn. Yes. You know how to talk to people. Yes. You know to smile. So when I'm talking about skills, it's really the basic skills. Communicating. Think about the people you communicate with well. Think about the skills you use when you're communicating with them. They're the skills you're taking into a networking event. And it's almost like creating what came to me is having a force field around you. There may be 100 people in the room, but actually all you need to see is the person standing in front of you. It's not a 1 to 100 conversation, it's a 1 to 1, 1 to 2, 1 to 3 conversation. And actually, do you have the skills to talk to people, engage with them, to listen, observe what 2 or 3 people are doing? They are the skills you're taking into a networking event. The rest is just there in the background. And actually just thinking about, actually, I can talk to people. I can listen to people and observe what's going on. And this is an important step. And so thinking about actually what you can do, what you can enjoy, what you will enjoy in your next networking event, what you can do, what skills you have to enable that to happen. What difference does that make? We go back to the start, how are you feeling about networking? You have a sense of optimism now. Essentially, it's not going to be as bad as I thought. There are positives. I can enjoy this event. I can network, talk to people, can listen to people. The difference it makes, does it make you feel differently? What outcome I'm going to get? What difference does it make me to be at the networking event? Make a difference to you internally as a person? From your employment point of view, does your employer, does your manager, team colleagues appreciate you being there? Do external people, do customers and clients appreciate seeing you there? And what's it doing? It's building a relationship. The difference is it makes you, ultimately, it helps you start building relationships with a wider range of people, helping you bring connections, and what a big difference it can make for you going forward. And so just taking all these thoughts around, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to be, this is what's next. This is the difference it's going to make. Having all this in mind, the next step is always about, actually, how do we plan for a really successful networking event? And preparation, like everything, is key. You ever walked into an exam without preparing? A driving test without preparation? You planned a job interview without doing any preparation? We know. So the same approach applies to networking. Give it a sense of dread, text it a sense of excitement, and just deal with the fear, the rational, logical fear. And for me, it was always about, what do you do when you arrive? You arrive happy. Don't want to arrive too late, because everyone must be talking, but don't want to arrive too early. And it's just finding what's coming. But what do you do when you arrive? For me, it was part of it was a realization that I'm not the only one who was not been looking forward to networking events. There are lots of people who go to networking events who don't go with the mindset they're not going to enjoy it. They're not looking forward. And actually, when you walk into an event, you can spot them. Just notice, look around. Look at the extroverts chatting away. Look at the people standing in corners and not pretending to be on their phone. And just look around. So when you arrive, it's all about, okay, I'm going to look around. And is there someone I know I want to talk to? Maybe, maybe not. Is there somebody who's standing there looking a bit embarrassed who really appreciate the conversation? Actually, you might want to go and talk to them, because you would appreciate it most. The person who's gone to a networking event and is not really looking forward to it, and then suddenly someone they don't know makes the effort to talk to them, they're going to hugely appreciate it, and they're going to remember you. You will have a massive impact on them. You never know the unexpected conversations you have. Many times I've gone to events and started talking to random people who had some really great conversations, or found things in common. And that's really the aim of your conversation. When you're talking to someone you don't know, is to find things in common. Yes, you can start with the traditional English approach on the weather, how you got there, what you think of the venue, I think was the subject. Then it's really about expanding, holidays, hobbies, family, exploring things you might have in common outside the work. People don't want to talk about work, so taking the conversation away, finding stuff they're interested in. People love talking about stuff they're really interested in. Finding that passion, allowing them to talk, and seeing how it connects to the things you're interested in. Get some really interesting conversations shared. You know, you may have come from the same place, grown up in the same place, you know, being in the same place on holidays, the same interests, similar age kids. There's so many different areas of things you can be interested in. And it's those things that build the conversations. That's really think about going beyond what what you say. What you say is important. Okay, actually, what am I really interested in? What am I willing to talk? And the great thing is, you don't need to talk that much. Yeah. The trick is to ask lots of really open questions. What the holiday plans are for the year. You can talk about where you grew up. I mean, I grew up in Norwich, a really beautiful city. I love the open countryside a few miles away, and the great architecture. And just by talking about where you grew up, people will naturally say, "Oh, I grew up somewhere else." You know, you can compare and contrast the two different areas, and instantly you are searching out the common ground in your conversations. It's very easy to, with a little preparation, thinking, these are the things that I'm going to focus on tonight. And it becomes a habit. It breaks the old habit of standing there in embarrassed silence. And sometimes you can make a joke of it. I made a joke, you know. Walking up, for instance, walking up to people who you don't know. So I don't know anybody here, you know, and my name is, okay. That breaks silence. Okay, it's telling the person you're going up to, you don't know anybody, but you're actually here to get to know them. And if they're standing there alone, they will appreciate you coming up and chatting. And sometimes they'll be waiting for somebody else, but that's, you know, how it works. Chat, and it's really focusing it on. That's really key focus. And actually, what I notice is it's the length of conversations. For me, as an introvert, I know where my energy goes. I'm sitting here watching the clock, and I know that actually, as I sit here with the thoughts racing through my mind, I know that constantly speaking for a long time just drains my energy, and I need time to recharge. I know that 20 minutes, for instance, is the longest I feel comfortable talking for. Because for me, it just takes energy. I have to listen, and I enjoy talking, yet I need to stop. So that's really, knowing your limits is important. And for me, it's about learning about who you are and what difference you can make. We're each special and unique individuals, and we all have something to offer. And if we start from that point, go and enjoy. And it's about learning each day, each time you do it, one small step. Oh, reflecting. You know, on the journey home, you can reflect what went well, what didn't go well. Oh, what will I do different next time? I had a really great conversation with so-and-so. I'll connect with them on LinkedIn, for example. And there's these things, you know, you can just instantly make the small changes. If you have a choice, we can follow the negative, fearful mindset with a positive, hopeful mindset and continue to move forward. That's the choice we face. So I hope you really learned something today, and often take spending a few minutes just to reflect what have you learned and what difference it's made. Really big difference. And please feel free to get in touch with me. You can either email me at brian@brianpauljohnson.com, or you can use the QR code to book some time on my diary. I did love to know what you think, what subjects you'd like to cover in the future. I hope you manage to stay cool. Really looking forward to jumping back into the paddling pool after I've done a bit of admin work, and just looking for a great time. So thank you for your time, and I hope to see some of you next week.